I recently had the opportunity of meeting Kenyan Economist, Mr. Peter Gakunu. Mr. Gakunu has had a long career in economics, starting with the East African community in the 1970s. He has also worked with the African Caribbean Pacific group of countries in Brussels, Belgium, and as a member of the Dream Team with the Moi government. Mr. Gakunu has also worked as a director for Africa with the International Monetary Fund in Washington. Could you tell us a little about your experiences working for international institutions, the public service and advisory role?
Well, that question is rather lengthy. You're asking me to summarize a 70-year plus lifespan. Anyway, to make short answer to your question, yes, I have worked with the government. I started working in 1973. I was the district cooperative officer in Eldoret. I didn't think it was a good job for an economist. So I left that job and joined the East African community in 1974. I liked my job very much as an economist. It ended with me being in Brussels for the then East African office there as the economic attaché. Those days we were negotiating with the European Union for the Lome Convention. So I stayed until 1977 when the community wound down. I made a very short, brief transit through Kenya. It didn't last more than 3 months, 4 months. So I ended up back in Brussels within the African, Caribbean, and Pacific group of countries. And there I lived in that job for from 77 to 2000. 2000 is when I came to Kenya. I was shocked from there by the World Bank, the UNDP, and IMF to come as a member of the Dream Team to Kenya. So I stayed in Kenya until 2002. We had the elections, we had the new Kibaki government. So I worked with the Kibaki government for some time. Then in 2004, I left again to go to the International Monetary Fund as the Executive Director for Africa. A very nice job. Yeah. From there, of course, I came back. I continued with some of my private work, consult as a business, which again, after some time, I found a bit challenging for my age and level. So I left it to the young people. Yes. Now I am around. I decided, since I was here, to talk to the local university to see whether I could keep my brains active by talking to the young people.
Like us.
Yes, about economics.
Okay.
Yes, and that's what I occasionally do. During my spare time, I do a bit of reading, yes, interacting. I do some video conferences with the IMF, YO. Yes, I'm still active mentally. Yes. The thing I have avoided, as you realize, is politics.
Yeah.
Both the local or at any level. Yes.
Yeah. Evidently.
Yes.
Okay. Which brings us to our second question. What, according to you, are the most valuable skills and experiences to build early for career in economics or finance?
I think the first thing one has to be very careful of is that your name is very important, and your name is important from the very beginning, especially for people like me who are very humble background. You have no other reference point. You don't have a brother, a friend. You are what do you call it? You are breaking new ground every time.
Yeah.
So really, you are yourself, who you are, yeah, is very important. So even if you want to develop your career, you have to believe in yourself and make sure that you hold those principles that make you who you are. You see,
Yeah.
don't copy, don't go around with the crowd. Yes, I
Okay.
think that's one thing that has kept me where I am, because you are in places with the people who have very rich backgrounds.
Yeah.
And nobody realizes that yours is very challenging. So you have to really be yourself there. Yes.
Now that you touched on principles, I would be interested to ask what values you believe are fundamental for professionals involved in policy.
One of the things you know is that economics is in everything, isn't it? Because you are an economist yourself, a young one,
Yes.
but you know that everything is economics. Whether you are in health, in education, in politics,
Energy.
everything is economics. You see.
Yes.
So, if you want really to be a good economist, you have to be true to the discipline of economics. You see, in economics, you don't believe anything unless really you have tested the model and seen it works. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but some of the politics you hear is just to please you, not basically to really do what economics says, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the issue. Like, if I digress a little, when the young people like you started with the question of taxes, uh, those who are advising the government, right? Of course, the government has got very good economists. Yeah? You know, really, they are good people who are known internationally. I think what failed them is they want to be on the right side of those who are the politicians, and they don't want to tell them what the economics is telling them to tell them. That if you tax people, there is a threshold beyond which you cannot go. Because if you go beyond that threshold, then even the taxes you are hoping to collect, you won't collect. Okay?
Yes.
That one is the ABC of economics, economics 101. Right? But those who are advisors of the government kind of went into a comfort zone, and they were kind of afraid to speak what they can tell those who implement policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What habits or mindsets have helped you stay intellectually sharp across your career?
I think the point I realize is that I am not perfect. I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I'm inquisitive. I really want to keep abreast of what is developing. So even though I may not attend the IMF, for example, spring meetings which were there in April, I follow the deliberations of the IMF at the spring meeting. You see,
Yeah.
listen to what people are talking about the Trump tariffs, for example, the impact they are having on the global economy, on the developing countries. Yes, I keep my curiosity very active. Yeah, surely I do. I do. Yeah. I try to keep myself as current as possible. Yes. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to someone looking to building a career, leading to working for global institutions such as the IMF and World Bank?
Yeah, you know, the people who are at that, who work in those institutions, like every institution, you see, you have those who start, and for you to be there, you really must be the best there is, correct?
Yeah.
Because you see, you're going to work with somebody who is qualified, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who has worked at Harvard, for example, and he has been working on economics all his life, and now you come freshly like you to come and work under him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you really don't try to understand your staff, you're going to find yourself in serious trouble, isn't it?
So putting in a lot of time to understand.
Yeah. So the thing you have to do is you have to take your job serious. You have to really realize that the person who is going to be your boss, for whom you will prepare that paper, knows it more than you know, right? Yes. And it's not that you can't write it, you see? Yeah, but it's because that's your job. So when you do it, you really must do it to the best of your ability, right? Yeah.
That's a very interesting perspective. And what piece of advice do you wish you had received at a younger age?
Yeah, I think I grew up in the village. My primary, everything basically was in the village, right? So in the village, you are not in competition with anybody. You don't have a role model that wakes you up in the morning to go to school. You are not competing with anybody, especially like me was always number one in the class. So I wasn't really competing with anybody. But being number one perhaps made me want to stay always number one. But the main thing I think really if it had ever been possible was if I had an elder brother or an elder sister who had seen it happen before, all right? And then could correct me where I wasn't doing it rightly. Maybe it would have made a difference for me. But perhaps it would have affected me differently and become a different person than who I am today. I am very happy with myself the way I am, because my position is that I have in my career been able to tell very senior people, even the presidents, what they were doing was not right. You see? And I don't think many people have had that opportunity of being so frank and open and being given that opportunity to do that. You see? And they have done that at the political level, at the economic level. So if you meet somebody who is in charge of the IMF and you tell him, Mr. Strauss-Kahn, I think what you are telling me doesn't tally with my countries, and he is the leader of the world economy, so to say. Or you meet a president like President Mugabe and tell him your policy on taking people's chambers is not right, and then not being able to service the economy. Not many people have had that opportunity. Okay. But you can see my background. So maybe if somebody had tampered with it, I wouldn't have come out like that.
Okay. And what still excites you most about economics?
I told you everything about life is economic. You know that. Everything is about economic. It's about supply and demand. It's about scarcity. It's about the opportunity cost. You see, it's about cost-benefit analysis. It's life. That's economics, isn't it? So whatever profession you are in, a woman a mama mboga who is going to the market, she's worrying about cost-benefit analysis. You see, shall I do this or shall I do that? Somebody who is taking another profession you are choosing, if I do law instead of this, what impact will it have for me in the future? So economics is what everybody does every day. And that's what is exciting about it. And I don't have to talk macro, micro terms with people. But basic things. Basic things.
Given your vast exposure in travel, as well as your study of other languages, what's your favorite word in another language?
My favorite word in another language?
Yes.
I've never thought of that, Maybe bonjour.
Why is that?
Because it's a word that comes to everybody. How are you, isn't it? The first time you meet somebody, what you do is how are you, isn't it? So maybe the favorite word is that one, bonjour. So that's the first word you know. Isn't it?
What quote most resonates with you?
Sorry?
What quote most resonates with you?
What quote most resonates with me?
Yes.
Oh boy, I don't know. There was one I saw was it in one of these X tweets that I found very useful. That you come in this world with nothing, you accumulate everything, and when you are going with nothing, right?
Yeah.
So the way I looked at that quotation is that what is important to you is really the impact you have, right?
Yes.
It's not the material world you make. It's what that material world, if you have it, can do to people, right?
Yeah.
So I think that quote that showed to me that this is the way I will go, the way I came, is the most relevant one. And I think living here in my village, it teaches me every day because it's only me and my wife here, as you know, but it's very peaceful.
Yes. Yeah.
Really very peaceful. So it shows we had everything, but we came. Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, on today's episode, what objects do you misplace the most?
Sorry?
What objects do you misplace
Object,
the most?
I misplace or miss?
Misplace the most.
Misplace?
Yes.
Oh boy, object. What kind of object are you in mind now? Huh? I misplace.
Yes.
Yeah. Today.
Often.
Maybe my phone.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe my phone. I misplace it. Like now, I don't know. You see it here. I didn't know where it is.
Okay.
Yes. Today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ben. It was a pleasure, right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.